What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. The 2024 college football season is now officially underway. Of course, we just had week 0 over the weekend, so with that being said, we're going to give you my top 25 rankings heading into the first official weekend of the college football season. The real season begins pretty much mainly on Thursday. We got some games coming up on Thursday, then of course on Friday, and then we have some games pretty much coming up throughout the weekend. A lot of good games coming up throughout the weekend, and I'm really looking forward to it. Labor Day weekend is where the official season begins, and we do have a lot of those big games coming up over the weekend as well. So we're going to go ahead and give you my top 25 rankings heading into week 1. I have made a couple of changes here to my top 25, or I should say maybe just one change to my top 25. Let's talk about week 0 of college football from this past weekend. What a week 0 it was. What a great week 0 that we had. This was probably the best week 0 and probably the most wild week 0 that we've had in a very long time. How about Florida State going down to Georgia Tech? I mean, who saw that coming? I did expect Georgia Tech to compete in that game. Did not expect, though, to, compete in the second half. I thought Florida State would probably pull away in that game, but Florida State does not look like the same team that we saw from last year. Of course, that was obviously a big concern. They had all these transfers coming in. The defense did not play pretty well, but we'll talk about Florida State here in just a second. I was just really impressed with Georgia Tech, though. The running game was just really phenomenal, but another game that we saw was SMU really coming close to losing to Nevada, and I'll talk about SMU here in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and get into my week 1 top 25 rankings here for the 2024 college football season. We will start from the bottom and work our way to the top, so we start here from 21 through 25. Again, we got SMU here at number 25. They were ranked for me last week in my preseason. Then I got Iowa at number 24, Texas A&M at 23, Arizona and Kansas at 22 and 21. These 4 teams from 21 through 24 will be in action this weekend. We'll talk about these teams in just a little bit, but SMU here at number 25 starts 1-0. Very tough game against Nevada, a couple days ago. SMU, of course, was down in the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. They were down 24-13, but SMU came rallying back from behind. Nevada, though, I think is going to be a pretty good team this year based off of what we saw. I think, Nevada might be a dark horse team in the Mountain West. I don't really study the group of 5 teams that much, but they gave SMU a scare in this game. Now, is SMU ready to play here at this Power 4 level? I don't know. Maybe it was just a bad game for SMU, but again, overall, we didn't really see much from, all these teams that we're seeing in week 0. Again, both SMU and Florida State and Georgia Tech, they're going to get better as the season goes along, but from what I saw, SMU, obviously kind of struggled in the first half. They really struggled to run the football, and, this is a very talented team, but the question is, how good are they going to be once they get into conference play? I don't know. It's really hard to tell as of right now. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but I was really impressed with their comeback. They had to get a really good touchdown, and then, of course, a safety kind of helped them out to get the lead. So SMU starts 1-0 as a Power 4 team with a win over Nevada. And again, I wouldn't really been surprised if SMU lost this game to Nevada, but again, it was a big shakeup to say the least. But Iowa, they'll play, this weekend. We'll see how the offense looks. The offense is obviously the main concern that Iowa needs to, deal with. The defense, though, I do expect the defense to dominate this weekend. Texas A&M at number 23, big game coming up against Notre Dame. We'll see what Mike Elko and this Texas A&M team looks like. I'm very anxious to see that game this weekend. It's one of the biggest games coming up this weekend. College game day, of course, will be down there. So I got the Aggies here at number 23. Can they pull off a huge upset to start out the Mike Elko era? Arizona at number 22. We'll see what this new coaching staff looks like here for the Wildcats. I got them here at number 22. And then Kansas comes in at number 21. I think this will be a really good team. Again, the offense should be overall pretty good. We'll see what this offense looks like. They should be overall pretty decent offense, and I think the defense will be pretty good as well. They got a pretty lesser competition this weekend, so not really a big matchup there, but I got Kansas here at number 21. These are my rankings here from 21 through 25. Let's now go from 16 through 20. All these teams will be in action this weekend. We got Miami at number 20, Louisville at number 19, Kansas State at number 18, Oklahoma at number 17, and then Missouri at number 16. So Miami plays Florida this weekend. I mean, that's obviously another big game coming up this weekend. Looking forward to this game. We'll see what Cam Ward looks like at the quarterback position. We heard that he's going to be the starting quarterback for this team. So I'm very anxious to see what this Miami offense looks like. The talent is there for them on the offense. The defense is also there for them. Can they stop the Florida offense from scoring a lot of points? I think it will be probably a low-scoring game. Again, Florida is my pick to win that game this weekend, but I tell you what, I think it will go back and forth. But I'm really anxious to see what this Miami team looks like. But I got the Hurricanes here at number 20. Louisville at number 19. We'll see what the new transfers look like for this Louisville team. Tyler Shough will make his debut as the Cardinals starting quarterback, so Louisville here at number 19. Kansas State should be able to take care of business this weekend. And then Oklahoma comes in at number 17. They'll have an easier competition this weekend. They got Houston next weekend, a Big 12, non-conference opponent. That'll be, of course, very tough here for the Sooners, but I got this team here at number 17 and then Missouri at number 16. We'll see what this Missouri offense looks like. Brady Cook, of course, returns at quarterback. They lost their running back from last year, so maybe the running game might struggle here for the Tigers, but I think the wide receivers on this team are really good enough in the passing game, so Missouri should be a pretty explosive offense, but we'll see how good that defense is going to be. Of course, the defense might take a step back from where they were last year, but all these teams from 16 through 20 will be in action. Of course, Miami, I think, has the toughest matchup out of all these 5 teams that you're seeing from 16 through 20. Again, these are pretty much the same kind of rankings that we had in the preseason top 25 from last weekend. So let's now go to the top 15 from 11 through 15. So again, I made a change here. Florida State drops 5 spots for me. We'll get to that in just a minute. Florida State here at number 15, Clemson at number 14, Tennessee at number 13, LSU at number 12, and then Utah here at number 11. Florida State starts 0-1. Very tough loss to Georgia Tech. Big upset, though, by the Yellow Jackets. I mean, who saw this coming? I really expected Georgia Tech to fight in this game, though. I really think, Georgia Tech was definitely, really overlooked at in this game. Florida State came in as a 10-point favorite, and Florida State just did not look like the same team as they were from last year. Yes, they scored on their first drive. That was really exciting to watch, but DJ Uyunglele, I was really impressed with his performance, but again, the running game wasn't really that good for the Seminoles. Could not really run the football in this Georgia Tech defensive line. The Georgia Tech defense did a really nice job stopping that Florida State offense, going 3 and out, and Florida State could just not move the football in the second half. It was tied up at 14. They had a pair of field goals. The kicking game was really good, but the defense for Georgia Tech just played outstanding. That defense, though, for the Seminoles looks like it's not going to be as really good as it was last year, and they lost a lot of talent on that side of the football, so it's going to really take some time for Florida State to get better on that side of the football. We'll see them back in action on Labor Day night. They'll play Boston College. Maybe they'll rebound after being back at home and everything. Boston College gave Florida State a scare from last year, but I think Florida State will probably take care of business. I wouldn't really want to say take care of business after this loss to Georgia Tech. I mean, how much is that loss going to hurt them here in this one? I don't think their playoff hopes are over, and I also think their conference championship hopes are not over yet. But again, this is a very tough loss to start out the year for the Seminoles. Again, Georgia Tech ran the football pretty well. That was definitely the strength of this Georgia Tech team. What I'm seeing with Georgia Tech, I think they're going to be really good at running the football. The passing game may not be the best, but Haynes King can also run the football. So this might be a Georgia Tech team that runs the football a lot more. And I think Georgia Tech, when you look at this matchup, and also with the upset they pulled off, if SMU probably would have lost to Nevada, I probably would rank Georgia Tech at number 25, but I'm not going to be able to do that. So again, SMU, they survived, that kept Georgia Tech out of the top 25 for me, but if SMU probably loses maybe next week, maybe next Friday, to BYU or something like that, or, to another cupcake team, they have BYU in a couple weeks, I should say. I mean, if they lose that game, I think Georgia Tech, if they start off really strong, this team will be in the top 25 before too long. But again, Florida State at number 15. I had them at number 10 last week. I did drop them 5 spots, but not really a bad, drop and everything. But again, this team drops now to number 15. And then Clemson at number 14. They'll be in action against Georgia, of course. That will be a big game coming up at noon Eastern time this weekend. If Clemson can compete for a half or two, maybe for all 3 quarters, I think Clemson might be, the favorite now to win the ACC championship. But the ACC looks like it's going to be really wide open. A lot of these teams are going to beat up on each other just like the Big 12 will be. Clemson at number 14, though. Tennessee at number 13. They'll be in action against a cupcake team. We'll see what the offense looks like for Tennessee with Nico Maliava, and we'll see if that defense is a little bit improved. And then LSU at number 12. LSU will play USC on Sunday night. I think it's going to be a really good offensive battle between those two teams. The defenses might be a little bit concerned there for both of those teams, but we'll see how much both of these teams are improved on the defensive side of the football. It's kind of hard to tell as of right now what these teams are going to look like because we need 4 weeks to kind of figure out what these teams look like and how they play for the rest of the year. And then Utah comes in at number 11. So again, you're seeing these teams from 11 through 14. They jump up just because Florida State lost. I know they didn't play over the weekend, but they jumped up in the top 25. And then Utah here at number 11. Veteran experienced team. They should be able to take care of business this weekend. They have their first kind of real competition next weekend against Baylor and everything, but that's a non-conference game. But I got Utes here at number 11. Moving on to 6 through 10 now. I got Oklahoma State now in the top 10 due to Florida State losing over the weekend. Oklahoma State will have a lesser competition this weekend. Their real competition comes, next weekend against Arkansas, but we'll see what this team looks like this weekend. And then Penn State at number 9. They'll play West Virginia this weekend. That'll be a very tough game on the road here for the Nittany Lions. We'll see what Drew Aller, how much he's improved a little bit on the offensive side of the football. I think the running game will be the strength for this Penn State team going into that game this weekend, but I wouldn't be surprised if West Virginia pulled off the upset against a top 10 team. We've already seen that, of course, over the weekend when, of course, Georgia Tech upsetted, Florida State and everything. So I got Penn State here at number 9. Notre Dame at number 8. Big time game coming up against Texas A&M this weekend. Notre Dame, of course, with a new transfer quarterback in Ryan Leonard. We'll see how good he's going to be on the offensive side of the football. This is going to be a very talented Notre Dame team, though. And again, I wouldn't really be surprised if Texas A&M pulled off a huge upset in this one. We could see a lot of upsets this weekend just based off of what happened a couple days ago in week 0. So I got Notre Dame at number 8. Michigan comes in at number 7, taking on a group of 5 team in Fresno State. We'll see what this Michigan coaching staff looks like, and also we'll see what this new Michigan team is going to look like based off of last year. I think it will be a pretty good team. Defensively, I think that defense will be the strength for them this weekend. Maybe the offense kind of struggles in the first 4 weeks, and we'll see how much the offense can improve. But I got Michigan here at number 7, and then Ole Miss at number 6. Got a pretty easy contest, this weekend. We'll see how explosive that offense is going to be, and the same thing kind of like Tennessee. We'll see how much their defense improves as well. So these are my rankings here from 6 through 10. To the top 5 now, same top 5 as last week. I got Alabama at number 5, Texas at number 4, then I got Oregon at number 3, Ohio State at number 2, and then Georgia at number 1. So Alabama, Texas, and Oregon, and then Ohio State, they have all easy games this weekend, and then Georgia comes in with the toughest game kind of coming up this weekend with Clemson. We'll see what that Georgia team looks like. We'll see how good the defense is going to be. I think both sides of the football should be very good for Georgia, and again, they are a big favorite in that game going into this weekend against Clemson. I don't think it will be an easy game, for the most part in the first half, but I think Georgia probably is clearly the better team, and I could see why they really are a big favorite in that game. But again, Georgia comes in at number 1, same top 5 as last week. Alabama makes their debut with Kalen DeBoer. We'll see how good that offense is going to be, and we'll see if the defense can improve as well. Then Texas at number 4. Texas, their first real competition won't come against, until next weekend against Michigan. That'll be a big game coming up in about a week or so, but maybe Texas is overlooking their opponent this weekend, and they're probably just too focused on that Michigan game. We'll see if they have a flat performance probably in the first few minutes, but I think Texas definitely will win at the end of the day. And then Oregon should be able to take care of business. They're taking on a Boise State team, though, out of the Mountain West. That's not a really bad team and everything, but I got Oregon winning that game pretty easily. I think Oregon rolls in that game, and they're here at number 3. And then Ohio State, Chip Kelly, of course, makes his debut as the offensive coordinator for the Buckeyes. Will Howard also makes his debut, and then Judkins also makes his debut. We'll see how explosive this offense is going to be here for the Buckeyes this weekend. But again, anything can happen this weekend. Maybe, teams really start off sloppy and then they start to get things going maybe in the second half. Again, we saw that with Florida State. They really just could not get things going in the second half. But I got the Buckeyes here at number 2. And then Georgia, again, I already talked about them. So those are my top 25 rankings heading into the first weekend of the college football season. And again, what an exciting week 0 it was. Again, Florida State goes down here in the top 25. We already had an upset, so we probably will have more upsets to come here this weekend. Based off of what happened, I think this is going to be a really exciting college football season for 2024. So let me guys know what you think about these top 25 rankings. Give me your top 25 rankings down in the comments below heading into week 1 of the college football season. Thanks for watching this video and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports Channel.